Bezos and Sanchez are officially set to say I do on June 27.
We're entering the final countdown for what promises to be one of the most expensive, most exclusive, highly secretive weddings of the entire year.
And this is the wedding to be at this year. As you say, it will be the wedding of the year. Would Meghan like to be there? She would kill to be there. They are off the A list. They're off the B list. I don't even think they make the C list anymore.
You can practically hear the champagne corks popping. Jeff Bezos' 3-day wedding in Venice kicks off tomorrow and the buzz is off the charts. This isn't your run-of-the-mill celebrity wedding. This is a full-blown international takeover. Imagine private jets touching down on secret airstrips, sleek boats gliding through shadowy canals, and aerial fireworks framed by centuries-old palazzos. The kind of event that makes tourists drop their gelato and stare in awe. Venice is preparing for one hell of a show. City streets are being closed, floodlights are going up, security teams in crisp suits swarm the docks and piazzas. Because when you're hosting the richest man on earth, whispers of protest and paparazzi lines are guaranteed. Environmental activists are already warning about mega yachts clogging lagoon lanes and drone lights alarming migratory birds. Locals are grumbling about tourists getting blocked from the usual strolls. If anyone thought this was a low-key rendezvous, they're kidding themselves. The guest list is straight out of a global power directory. Big names are rumored. Oprah, Hollywood royalty, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kim Kardashian and her entourage, tech mogul Bill Gates, political royalty Ivanka Trump, Barbra Streisand, Mick Jagger, even heads of state whispers. Think about it. This isn't a wedding. It's a summit captured in couture. Each invite is a signal. Every name says, I matter. And every non-stop flight, yacht ride, and gilded dinner says, we've all bought in. The anticipation is electric. Glossy magazines are speculating which gown Sanchez picked, which floating restaurant they'll dine in if DiCaprio jokes make the menu highlight reel. Social media's exploded with exclusive Venice wedding tracker group chats, where people trade rumors about the secret island ceremony, the olive tree-lined dinners, the midnight capes. You can almost feel Italian dusk in the air, hear the gentle lapping of waves on wooden docks while whispers say, A-list, ultra exclusive, invite only. But underneath all that sparkle lies a question nobody's asking out loud. Yet, where are Meghan and Harry?
She would kill to be there, but I don't think her or Harry came anywhere near making this guest list. They weren't sort of considered and then, oh well, perhaps we can't quite fit them in. These people are not in this league anymore.
Seriously, just a few years ago, Harry and Meghan were the couple who redefined celebrity royal. They inked blockbuster Netflix deals, dominated the headlines, and transformed royal drama into a new kind of global entertainment. They were the story. Their every move, every whispered feud or red carpet moment became instant news. And now, nothing. Not even a rumored invite to the biggest, glitziest wedding of the year. Some insiders say maybe they weren't on the list. Others claim they got the call but politely declined. But the real shock isn't whether they turned it down or got left out. It's the dead silence. There are no paparazzi leaks about their itinerary, no off-the-record photos from secret dinners, no rumors of some last-minute Monaco-style gate crashing, nothing. Because when you're hot, you're on every guest list, especially one that reads like a Fortune 500 roll call. Not getting that invite? In this world, that's a message. The timing couldn't be more telling. This isn't a faded, years-ago Hollywood wedding, it's tomorrow. The clock is ticking hours, minutes, before the richest man on earth says, I do. And the narrative for who's in and who's out is being written right now. Is this going to be a star-studded reunion, where old Hollywood power couples toast each other beneath Venetian chandeliers? Or will it become a spectacle where the absence of certain names says more than any headline ever could? As the world tunes in to see who walks the dock, who sparkles on the water taxis, who laughs for the cameras, Meghan and Harry's absence is about to echo louder than the fireworks. Because let's be honest, this is about more than a wedding. It's about relevance, about being present in the circles where influence is traded like currency. If you're not at the table when the world's power players are gathering, especially now, it's a statement. A missing name from this guest list tells a story, whether it's whispered or screamed across tomorrow's headlines. But pause for a second. It's not just about going unseen. This kind of silence hurts. Imagine being the duo who once set fire to both royal tradition and Hollywood status quos, only to be missing from every candid group shot and glossy Instagram reel. There's no viral gown, no sly cryptic story post, not even a blurry glimpse in the background, just an absence that feels louder than any presence. Tomorrow, that silence will become the headline. Was this a strategic move by Meghan and Harry to distance themselves from the glitz and the scrutiny? Or is it a quiet signal that their star power has faded, that they're no longer part of the inner circle of influence? Maybe someone decided this power marriage had reached its expiration date. Or perhaps the couple simply didn't want to face a party that would remind everyone just how quickly the spotlight can fade.
They are off the A list, they're off the B list. I don't even think they make the C list anymore.
This wedding isn't just about vows. It's a high society scoreboard, a real-time who's in, who's out for the world's power elite. The lineup leaves no room for debate. It's all about money, influence, and cultural gravity. And right now, Meghan and Harry aren't anywhere near that glittering stage. But here's the twist. This kind of exclusion is about to shift the narrative in a way that no PR spin can fix. In Hollywood, image is everything. The optics of Meghan and Harry's absence from the Bezos wedding say more than any carefully crafted press release ever could. Let's not kid ourselves. These two were once the darlings of global media, the couple who made Buckingham Palace squirm and gave Netflix execs visions of blockbuster ratings. For a while, their story was the gold standard, a modern fairy tale laced with scandal, style, and just enough drama to keep the world hungry for more. Now, nothing. Not even a murmur about a last-minute flight to Venice, no blurry paparazzi photos hinting at a surprise arrival, not a peep from the rumor mill. That kind of silence is brutal. Remember back in 2018? They couldn't so much as buy organic groceries without the whole planet taking notice. Every step was headline gold, every appearance was choreographed for maximum impact. When they broke from the royal fold, it was more than a family feud. It was an all-out reinvention. They weren't just leaving the crown, they were setting fire to the old rulebook and grabbing a shot at their own kind of royalty, a Hollywood throne, a Wados dress. And for a hot second, it worked. They had the world watching. But then the cracks started to show, slow and steady. Promises of big projects gave way to vague announcements and unfinished ideas. The Spotify podcast fizzled, failing to become the next big cultural must-listen. The much-hyped Netflix deal landed with a soft thud, offering more headline drama than real, lasting impact. Meghan's Archetypes podcast sold as groundbreaking, but it often felt like therapy sessions wrapped in buzzwords, safe, sanitized, and, critics said, short on substance. Then came Harry's memoir, Spare, a bombshell drop that promised truth, but delivered as much controversy as clarity. Yes, it sold, but selling controversy isn't the same thing as earning respect or building staying power. That's what truly slipped away for Harry and Meghan respect. Not just from Buckingham Palace or the British press, but from Hollywood itself. The industry that once courted them doesn't care about your trauma or your truth. It cares about your pull, your presence, your power to move the needle. If you're not generating heat, you're ice cold. Hollywood is a treadmill. If you stop sprinting, you vanish. Flash forward to now, and the Meghan and Harry brand looks stuck in quicksand. Meghan's influencer rebrand, jam jars, wellness blurbs, soft launch teases, feels less like a game changer and more like a side project with no direction. Product launches get hyped, then fade. Social media posts promise more than they deliver. The moves feel reactive, not revolutionary. So when Bezos and Sanchez sat down to curate their ultimate A-list guest list, the signal was clear. 5 years ago, Harry and Meghan's names would have been at the top, circled and underlined. Today, not even penciled in.
5 years ago, they would have been invited to this wedding.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree. That was during their novelty phase, particularly when Hollywood just wanted to embrace.
These aren't people dusting off old friendships for a reunion tour. This is the formation of a new inner circle, one built on real-time power, unapologetic wealth, and cultural relevance that can be measured in headlines, not nostalgia. And here's the cruel twist. This snub probably isn't even personal. In fact, that's what makes it sting the most. It's not a public fallout or a dramatic "you're not welcome." It's indifference. When Hollywood stops noticing you, it's never with a dramatic exit, it's with a shrug and a quiet shift of attention. One day you're trending worldwide, breaking the internet with every appearance. The next, your trivia question. Didn't they go to that Netflix gala a few years back? Didn't she launch a jam line? That's where Harry and Meghan are now, stuck in a limbo between mentions, between viral moments, between actual relevance. People close to the Sussexes might insist they're just prioritizing privacy, choosing quality over quantity, or focusing on their family. But everyone in LA knows the truth behind that spin. It means you're out of moves. You're regrouping, or more likely, you're stalling and hoping for a call that isn't coming. And spoiler, in Hollywood, that phone never rings unless you've got something fresh to offer. Right now, Harry and Meghan aren't even serving up interesting appetizers, let alone a main course. And that's the saddest twist. For a while, they truly had the world at their feet. They weren't just royals. They were disruptors with a brand, a message, and a direct line to every newsroom and streaming platform. They could have built a legacy of innovation, flipped the narrative, and left both Buckingham and Hollywood awestruck. But instead of building, they broadcast. Instead of creating new stories, they repackaged grievances and called it content. The result? They're not just out of the room, they're out of the narrative. And in Hollywood, losing the narrative is the real kiss of death. This town doesn't believe in redemption stories for those who squander their shot. There's no sympathy for anyone who lets influence slip away because of overexposure and missed opportunities. So tomorrow, when the Bezos wedding becomes a roll call of who matters now, not 5 years ago, not next year, but now, Harry and Meghan's absence will be more than a missing seat. It'll be a glaring reminder of what they lost, and you can bet they know it. Meghan, who has always had a razor-sharp PR instinct when she's at her best, understands exactly what an omission like this means. Harry might shrug, at least until someone spells it out for him, but the symbolism will sting, not because they were desperate to attend, but because this event confirms what the industry's been whispering: they're not part of the club anymore. Yet there's an even deeper layer to all of this. The Bezos wedding isn't just a snub, it's a marker for a new club forming, a new generation of power and influence that's leaving others behind. Meghan and Harry aren't just missing a party, they're missing out on the future. And the real question isn't, why didn't they go? It's what changed. Getting invited to this wedding was never about friendship or history. It's about optics, about social currency. It's the most carefully curated seating chart in the world, where every chair tells a story and every name is a strategy. This isn't just a wedding, it's a resume, and that's exactly why Meghan and Harry's absence matters. It's not personal, it's mathematical.
They coughed everything they had to cough, and they've got nothing left. So again, they cannot claim to be successful.
Just take a look at the guest list rolling into Venice. The people flying in for Bezos' wedding aren't just famous, they're icons who represent what Hollywood and the world admires right now: relevance, dominance, wealth, and the kind of longevity that's almost impossible to manufacture. Oprah isn't just a TV legend, she's the gold standard for influence and legacy. Leonardo DiCaprio? He's still commanding headlines, starring in blockbusters, shaping the conversation with a single glance. The Kardashians might feel like tabloid wallpaper, but they've cracked the code on fame, staying perpetually viral by mastering every platform that matters. Even Lauren Sanchez, once written off as a background headline, has reinvented herself into a true force. She's piloting helicopters, heading up environmental projects, building a new kind of celebrity by proximity and purpose. Whatever people once said, it doesn't matter now. She's clearly winning. These are people who've kept their stories evolving, their value undeniable, their energy magnetic. Now compare that to Harry and Meghan, who seem to be clinging to the old shine of royal notoriety like it's a collectible handbag. Their narrative hasn't moved forward. It's still all about escape, injustice, and abstract empowerment. The same talking points, recycled for every platform, every interview, every podcast. But the world moved on, Hollywood moved on. And the Sussex brand feels like an email newsletter that lands in your spam folder. Something you remember exists but never bothered to open. That's why their absence from this guest list says so much. It's not about whether people like them or not, it's about whether they can command the room, pull focus, and actually matter in the spaces where decisions get made. Right now, they can't. The only headlines left for them are the kind that spark pity clicks or collective eye rolls. Whether it's Meghan hyping up a limited edition fruit spread or Harry politely fading into the background at public events, the noise around them isn't exciting. It's tired. Worse yet, their whole personal brand feels like it's in a permanent state of reaction. One week, Meghan's hyping a jam line, the next she's teasing a rosé launch. Then she pivots to children's projects, then name drops Diana's legacy in interviews, then swings back to empowerment mantras. Harry, meanwhile, floats from one Zoom panel to the next, looking like a man struggling to recall his own mission statement. There's no through line, no conviction, just a constant scramble to stay on message, even as the message changes by the week. Now look at Bezos and Sanchez. Whatever you think of them, their image is airtight. Power couple, check. Aviation, check. Philanthropy, luxury, forward momentum, all locked in, intentional, and strategic. They aren't just present, they're building a world everyone else wants to be part of. That's why their guest list is full of people at the top of their game. They've made themselves the center of gravity. Harry and Meghan, by contrast, are still searching for a launch pad, still hoping to recapture the relevance they once had. But it's not just about branding, it's about energy. Meghan and Harry radiate the unmistakable vibe of people desperate to be relevant, and nothing kills relevance faster in Hollywood than the stench of desperation. The real power players act like they belong, like they don't need to be noticed to matter. That's what keeps you in the room, that's how you last. Instead, Meghan's curating fruit platters for Instagram, hoping for a viral moment, while Harry drops mental health buzzwords into crowded virtual conferences. That's not presence. That's posturing. Even their wins have a hollow ring. When Elon Musk's platform had to fact-check Meghan for her claims about her toddlers running a produce stand, it didn't cause a scandal. It became a meme. And in Hollywood, once you're the punchline, you stop getting invited to the party.
Nobody wants to know those two because they haven't produced anything since the Netflix series and or Spare. Nothing whatsoever.
It's a mirror, plain and simple. A reflection of who's really shaping the game right now. The guests flying into Venice for the Bezos wedding are the ones making moves, not waiting for them. They're building new empires, not living off old headlines. They're shaping culture and driving conversations, not scrambling to react after the fact. And Meghan and Harry, they're not even on the field anymore. That's the cruelest part of all. They had everything they needed. A global story, modern royalty, the power to reinvent themselves as icons of creativity, philanthropy, and forward motion. They could have built an empire out of innovation and reinvention. But somewhere along the line, they mistook publicity for strategy and confused being talked about with being truly respected. The spotlight didn't fade. Tomorrow, when those helicopters land in Venice and the cameras pop and flash along the Grand Canal, every person stepping off a luxury boat won't just be a name. They'll represent what power looks like now. It's not just about fame or money. It's about narrative, momentum, and the ability to adapt. Meghan and Harry won't be there. Not because they were exiled, but because they expired. They didn't get pushed out. They simply stopped mattering to the people who decide what matters. So, what comes next? Could there be a comeback? Maybe. If there's one thing Hollywood loves, it's reinvention, almost as much as it loves watching a star fall. But if the Sussexes want another seat at the table, it'll take more than a new podcast or a batch of artisan jam. They'll need a narrative overhaul, something bold enough to wipe away the clutter, silence the cynics, and make people care again. Right now, the most revealing thing about Meghan and Harry's absence is that it doesn't even surprise anyone. The wedding of the year, and no one's asking, where are the Sussexes? Because everyone already knows, their absence is the message, unspoken, but loud as a bell. In the high-stakes world of celebrity power, you're never cut with a headline, you're just left off the list. The conversation moves on, and so does the world. There was no big announcement, no splashy snub, no dramatic fallout. Just a slow, suffocating fade from center stage to background noise. They went from being the world's most watched couple to a non-factor in one of the year's biggest cultural moments. And it's the kind of silence you can't fix with a fruit spread or another heartfelt speech about mental health. This is the kind of silence that lingers. It haunts. It says, you missed your moment and the world noticed. Meanwhile, the new power circle is setting itself in stone. Bezos, Sanchez, DiCaprio, Oprah, people with real reach, who are still making headlines for what they do, not just what they say. They have relevance and, even more importantly, momentum. The Sussexes have stalled, not forever and not beyond redemption. But for now, this wedding, the ultimate relevance check, left them behind. And that leads to the harshest question of all. Is it over? Not their celebrity, not their notoriety, but their seat at the table that truly matters. Because that's what this wedding represents. A new table, a new crowd, and a higher standard for staying in the room where decisions are made. Can Meghan and Harry earn their way back? Maybe. But it's going to take more than Instagram platitudes and memoir confessions. It'll take action. It'll take a reinvention so big it erases the static and gives people a reason to pay attention again. Because in a world that moves this fast, there aren't many chances to get back on top. The guest list is locked, the cameras are ready. And for two people who once lit up every room they entered, they're about to be missing from the one room that really counts. What do you think? Can the Sussexes come back from this, or is the world already moving on? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.